All right, so J.B. Pritzker did a press conference the other day because Trump sort of casually mentioned we're going to go into Chicago. We're going into Chicago. We're going to go into Chicago. So if you're keeping score here, Trump illegally invaded Los Angeles, nationalized federalized the National Guard to send them into Los Angeles, also sent the Marines into Los Angeles, did the same thing in Washington, D.C., has all these different federal agencies cracking down. He's been hinting that he's going to go into Chicago. Well, now there's some evidence already out there that indeed that plan is in motion. So J.B. Pritzker came out and gave a speech, and he did not hold back. Here we go.
In the coming days, we expect to see what has played out in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. to happen here in Chicago. First, Donald Trump is positioning armed federal agents and staging military vehicles on federal property, such as the Great Lakes Naval Base. It is likely those agents will be with ICE, Customs and Border Patrol, the Department of Homeland Security, and other similarly situated federal agencies. Many of these individuals are being relocated from Los Angeles for deployment in Chicago. We believe that staging that has already begun started yesterday and continues into today. Second, unidentifiable agents in unmarked vehicles with masks are planning to raid Latino communities and say they're targeting violent criminals. As we saw in Los Angeles, a very, very small percentage of the individuals they will target will be violent criminals. Instead, you're likely to see videos of them hauling away mothers and fathers, traveling to work or picking up their kids from school. Sometimes they will detain, handcuff, and haul away children.
All right, we got more.
Third, as lawful citizens exercise their First Amendment rights, Trump and his team will be looking for any excuse to put active duty military on our streets, supposedly to protect ICE. We have reason to believe that the Trump administration has already begun staging the Texas National Guard for deployment in Illinois. I want to be very clear on this point, and I want to speak directly to the press right now. We know, before anything has happened here, that the Trump plan is to use any excuse to deploy armed military personnel to Chicago. If someone flings a sandwich at an ICE agent, Trump will try and go on TV and declare an emergency in Chicago. I'm imploring everyone, if and when that happens, do not take the bait. They are law-abiding individuals who pay taxes and contribute to the communities who feel safe going to work and attending mandatory immigration check-ins. In other words, they're following the law. We have reason to believe that Stephen Miller chose the month of September to come to Chicago because of celebrations around Mexican Independence Day that happen here every year. It breaks my heart to report that we have been told ICE will try and disrupt community picnics and peaceful parades. Let's be clear, the terror and cruelty is the point, not the safety of anyone living here.
So, in other words, because Hispanics are going to be out in public, that's why Stephen Miller chose this time frame to illegally invade Chicago and try to crack down and try to do ICE raids and stuff. I mean, guys, can we just be honest for a second and point out this is a literal war from a red America on blue America. It is not a coincidence Los Angeles was invaded, D.C.'s invaded, and Chicago is about to be invaded. It's not a coincidence. This is Donald Trump. And the other thing he's doing is literally calling in the National Guard from red states that have higher crime rates, calling them in and deploying them in these blue cities. We know what this is. This is like a civil war where only one side is fighting. That's what it is. It's also intimidation tactics. It's also an attempt to get people used to martial law and having a police state so that when the elections roll around, they can do a whole bunch of fishy stuff, and everybody's just used to seeing the guys with the guns and military gear around. That's the other thing, is they ordered them all to be armed. This is where we are, bro. And you know it's bad. When you get Democratic governors to be this aggressive about something like this, you know we are up shit's creek without a paddle, because normally Democratic governors would be mum's the word, and if anything, we go along with the federal government. Now, there's not that at all.
I refuse to pretend that any of this is normal. I refuse to concede that the abject cruelty that we're seeing play out with the execution of Trump and Stephen Miller's policies are okay or justified. I refuse to fall into the pundit trap that demands we sacrifice vital constitutional rights if it's being done in the fake guise of fighting crime. Because, as I said 6 months ago in my State of the State address, any rational person who has spent even the most minimal amount of time studying human history has to ask themselves on one important question. Once they get the citizens of this nation comfortable with the current atrocities committed under the color of law, what comes next.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And by the way, let me just point out, Trump keeps losing in court with these cases. And then he still says, oh, I'm going to go to the next city and I'm going to illegally deploy the National Guard and the military. At what point do the people in the military look in the mirror and they go, you know what? I can't do this. I'm done. I'm rejecting this. Even if you have to resign, bro, like, have some fucking principles, right? I understand it's tough. I understand you need your paycheck. I understand this is what you train for and all that stuff. But he's calling on America's soldiers to invade America based on absolutely fucking nothing. There's not even a pretense of like, oh, something really bad's happening. Because like I said, in a lot of these red states, the crime rate is higher than where he's sending them in the blue states. Crime is, it's a nonsense explanation. He has gone full authoritarian. He has gone full fascist. He is not going to want to leave when it comes time to leave. And so he's just fucking with the blue states and the Democratic governors and Democratic mayors. And like, at some point, there's got to be pushback. There's got to be aggressive pushback. And thankfully, the mayor of Chicago, who's standing behind J.B. Pritzker in this speech here, said, I've instructed the police department to not cooperate with the feds. That's where we are, bro. That's where we are. If they want to lie and cheat and steal and break every rule and break every law, and Trump wants to use the military as his fucking personal army, okay, well then you threw the rule book out, so guess what? Now we're throwing the rule book out too, right? That's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. Because even when the courts say, hey, you can't do X, Y, or Z, they keep doing it. So we are in a really, really bad spot here. And I can't reiterate this enough. You can never give the fascist an inch. They will take a mile. And it looks like Pritzker is getting that lesson and others are getting that lesson, but we got to speed up. Everybody's got to get that lesson. The mayor of D.C., Democrat, is cooperating with Trump. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Just absolutely pathetic. Weakness. It is weakness personified. It's an important moment in U.S. history, and, you know, the textbooks will judge how we reacted, and it's up to us to react the proper way. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.